today we're going to cut down the dahlias and dig up the tubers. Let's see, I've gone through and labeled each one so that I know when I dig them up and I'm cutting them apart what I have for next year. Dahlia stems are very tall and hollow, so it is very important to stake them to support the very large flowers at the top. When the dahlias were in full bloom, they were so full that it was difficult to see the bottom of the stalks. So apparently I did not get all of them labeled. But I do have a map that I was keeping throughout the year, so I will refer to that. I throw the dead tubers in a pile I have on my land. Maybe someday they'll grow into a volunteer dahlia garden. Who knows? I'm just checking to see if this one is healthy. It's packed pretty good with dirt. It looks pretty full. It's a smaller clump, but it looks healthy. This Papageno plant didn't give me as many tubers, but there will be enough to be able to have some next year. I'm happy about that. Looks pretty clean. A lot of little tubers. Look at that. Now here's an example of when we have the new growth and then the mother tube is rotten. It's done its job. But it's some new growth. Well, the dahlias are all dug up. And now it's time to separate them. So my mom is actually going to come over and we're going to separate these. I'm going to teach her how to do it. Looking for the eyes, separating them out. Pretty excited. We have so many this year. It's just insane. Spend some time over the next couple of days and separate these out. And then possibly sell some of them. I have been having some requests, so I am considering it. They did well this year, so we'll see what happens. Next is to store them. I store them in these containers with a cover and burlap and vermiculite. So you'll see that in the rest of the video. So before I cut these down, I always put a tag on them for the type. This one is a Benjamin Matthews. My dahlias originally are from Swan Dahlia. So I want to cut the neck off. Really, I should have cut originally when I cut down the plants. I should have cut them shorter. It just makes it easier because they toughen up as they dry. And I just cut the ends of the roots off, clean it up. So my tools today are a razor blade and some snippers. And of course, a Sharpie marker to mark them, because when I mark them right on the tuber. I've had some that are singles and then some that have been coming out as clumps in the end because it's just too risky to take them apart. Yeah, so we'll see what we have for this one. So I have an eye right here I see for this tube. This one's kind of hanging there, so I could either leave it. So we have a couple of eyes here on this one, and this one's kind of hanging there, but it might have a vein of nutrients in there. And I do see an eye on that one, so if I can separate that one, I will, but this one, that is risky in my opinion for it to grow, but it could. This one has an eye there. It also has some other little ones there. Now I've definitely realized that the sooner you separate them after digging them up, the better. I wouldn't do it the same exact day, but give them a day to just rest and dry a little bit after rinsing them. You can see the eyes a lot better when they're a little bit more plump. If they start drying out, then it's harder to see those eyes. So this one belongs to that tuber, this eye. The mother tuber for this one is right here. I can see the writing from the marker on this one. So what I'm seeing is I'm going to try to take this one off. So I'm just cutting into the trunk and trying to, like that, release it from it. So I've got the eyes. It's got a neck. You always need a body, a neck, and the eye. So even though the neck is kind of stubby, that's the way it was on here. So that one will be fine. And then I will, even though also this one's cut, but this has enough body to give it some nutrients. So I will label it. And I keep my key. I'll go for this one. That one came off nicely from the trunk. And the eye is right there. So that one's good. I'm going to go for this one here. I'm going to try to take off some of this neck a little more. Just always got to watch your fingers when you're doing this. Put a line underneath mine after writing the initials because they can fade, the marker can fade, and sometimes I can't tell which way it is, what letters they are, even though I know they're not backwards, but it still is very confusing sometimes when they start fading. So at least if I put a line, I'll know what is up and what is down. I think with this one, I am just going to take this one off, just because I think it's risky. My clippers are getting sort of dull. I'm gonna have to get some new ones. Now I can separate these. I can tell that I would be able to get this one out. So I think I'm gonna go for it and just cut right in there. There we go. Okay, so this one should then slip right out. There we go. There we go. It's got a nice neck, got eyes on there. There's multiple eyes and a nice body. This Benjamin Matthew will do well. And this one I'm going to leave all together because I think that these were together in the first place for the original clump. I can just tell by the way it's weathered compared to other ones. They're usually darker, a little bit, the skin is more veiny, and these are lighter, fresher looking. So you can get a couple of years usually, or maybe a few years out of the mother tube. If it starts getting soft and mushy and obviously hollow, then there's nothing you can do with it. And it has done its job. But I think we can probably get another year out of this one. This is the basket I am working out of today. And there is the pile that I have already done between last night with my mom helping and this morning. All right. This one is called In Memory Of, and I got this one in memory of my daughter. My daughter passed away a couple years ago, and I got a couple of these tubers to plant in the garden, which is the whole reason why I started planting flowers, was in memory of her, to have a place to sit and think about her, talk to her. Yeah. And my dahlias have just grown so much since then. I also had bought the one called Frozen, and both of these tubers were put into this front yard garden, and I thought when they were blooming, because I did not have them labeled, I thought they were all the frozen ones. And then when I was really trying to do my labeling and research, once they all started blooming, I realized that most of the flowers, the dahlias that were blooming in my garden out front, were the in memory of, and not the frozen ones. I do have a couple of the frozen ones that did well, but this in memory, they were everywhere. They were all over the garden. The in memory dahlias were all over the garden. It was like a sign to me from Emily that she was everywhere. Because to me she is. She's everywhere. She's everywhere I go. I see reminders. I have memories. She was a beautiful girl, like dahlias. So it was just a blessing to have all of those white dahlias in the front garden to say hello to me every morning. Yeah. There's a little worm in here. Okay, so back to the dahlias. Okay, so on this clump I have, look at this one. This one's just beautiful. It's got, the eyes are very pinkish, connected to this tuber. Here's the mother tuber, possibly this one too. It might have been a clump from the year before. And so I'm just gonna start with getting this one off at the top. I am just going to cut through this. Oh, I hate to cut through the trunk sometimes because you can see some that you might wreck. I don't want to. I want to be able to preserve as many of these tubers as I can, not sacrifice. So I'm going to try to cut away one of the mother tubes here. To break the neck on these as you're taking them out, because the necks can be so sensitive. There we go. There's an eye there. Will be okay for next year. This one is called Cha-Ching. Now this one has pretty pink flowers. They don't get very big. They're about maybe 3 inches, but they are everywhere, all over the bush. It is amazing how many flowers come from the Cha-Chings, and that's must be why they called it Cha-Ching, because it's the maker, definitely. Maker of flowers. I have a number of these plants too, so I will definitely have a lot available. These ones. And these are early bloomers too, which I love. It's so satisfying to see flowers start blooming. It's hard with the late bloomers in Minnesota because they when they bloom late, we might get a frost early, so we might lose a lot of availability of the flowers to bloom, and it's just a bummer. But some of those late bloomers are also so pretty, and you just wait and wait. I have one that was called Papageno, and one, let's see, the Mai Tai is also a late bloomer, which I love the look of the Mai Tai. It literally looks like a Mai Tai drink. It literally looks like the colors of one. Of course, the first time I ever had a Mai Tai was in Hawaii, so that was pretty special. That's why the Mai Tai Dahlia is special to me. I'm gonna see if I can get this long one off of here first. Look at all those beautiful tubers. I am slightly overwhelmed by the amount of tubers this year, but we are going to go forward, sell, and store them for the winter. Hi everyone. All right, so I've got my dahlias divided and stored in the vermiculite in the bins, and they are all ready to go in storage. So here they are. I have all of my dahlias done. They are divided and stored in vermiculite, and the lids are loose, and I will be storing them this way. I don't secure the lids to the bins because that could accumulate moisture, and I check on them every month throughout the winter. Thank you for joining me for 2024's Dahlia Harvest.